Question 1. A news website hosts its front end on EC2 instances behind an ALB. The backend consists of Amazon RDS MySQL and an Elasticache Redis layer. The site experiences high spikes in traffic but remains idle at night. Costs need to be optimized while maintaining availability and performance. Which solution reduces costs without impacting availability? Options: A. Use EC2 auto-scaling with spot instances and reserved instances mix. B. Switch to Amazon DynamoDB to replace RDS and reduce costs. C. Migrate the web tier to AWS Lambda to eliminate EC2 costs. D. Configure RDS to use multi-AZ and Elasticache to use replication. Correct answer: A. Use EC2 auto-scaling with spot instances and reserved instances mix. Explanation. Spot instances reduce costs for non-critical workloads. Reserved instances guarantee savings for predictable usage. Auto-scaling ensures dynamic scaling during traffic spikes. Why not other options? Option B. DynamoDB is not a direct replacement for MySQL. Option C. Lambda may not be suitable for a large web app. Option D. Multi-AZ and replication increase cost, not reduce it. Why not other options? Option B. DynamoDB is not a direct replacement for MySQL. Option C. Lambda may not be suitable for a large web app. Option D. Multi-AZ and replication increase cost, not reduce it. Correct answer: C. Use AWS Private Link for allowed services and disable outbound internet traffic. Explanation. Private Link allows only specific AWS services to be accessible from on-premises without exposing them to the internet. Blocking outbound traffic ensures compliance. Why not other options? Option A. WAF does not control network-level traffic. Option B. AWS Network Firewall is helpful, but Private Link is more targeted. Option D. Security groups are not sufficient for controlling service access. Question 3. A large enterprise manages multiple AWS accounts using AWS organizations. Developers need temporary access to specific accounts. Access should be controlled dynamically based on roles. Federated authentication is required via Active Directory, AD. What is the best approach to manage access securely? Options: A. Use AWS SSO with IAM role-based access control across accounts. B. Manually create IAM users in each AWS account for developers. C. Distribute IAM credentials and rotate them every 30 days. D. Require developers to assume IAM roles using AWS CLI. Correct answer: A. Use AWS SSO with IAM role-based access control across accounts. Explanation. AWS SSO, single sign-on, with IAM roles provides centralized access management across multiple AWS accounts. Why not other options? Option B. Creating manual IAM users in each account is not scalable. Option C. Rotating IAM credentials manually is error-prone and insecure. Option D. AWS CLI role assumption is helpful but not a complete solution. Question 4. A multinational company has an Amazon RDS PostgreSQL database hosted in US East 1. Users from Europe and Asia experience high query latency. The company wants a scalable solution to improve global performance. Which approach provides the best performance improvement? Options: A. Enable Amazon RDS read replicas in Europe and Asia. B. Migrate to Amazon Aurora Global Database. C. Implement AWS Global Accelerator for database queries. D. Increase the RDS instance size and use enhanced networking. Correct answer: B. Migrate to Amazon Aurora Global Database. Explanation. Aurora Global Database provides low-latency reads across multiple regions. Asynchronous replication ensures fast global access. Why not other options? Option A. Read replicas help, but Aurora Global DB is more optimized. Option C. Global Accelerator does not improve database performance. Option D. Scaling up RDS does not reduce network latency. Question 5. A large enterprise has multiple AWS accounts and wants to securely connect VPCs across different regions. Some VPCs belong to different AWS accounts but need private connectivity. Minimize operational overhead while ensuring scalability and security. Centralized control over network access is preferred. Which solution meets these requirements? Options: A. Use AWS Transit Gateway and share it across AWS accounts. B. Create VPC peering connections between all VPCs. C. Set up a NAT gateway in a central VPC to route traffic. D. Use AWS Direct Connect to establish private links between VPCs. Correct answer: A. Use AWS Transit Gateway and share it across AWS accounts. Explanation: AWS Transit Gateway allows scalable, centralized network connectivity between multiple VPCs across different accounts and regions. Why not other options? Option B. VPC peering is not scalable for many VPCs. Option C. NAT gateway is not meant for inter-VPC communication. Option D. Direct Connect is for on-premises to AWS, not VPC to VPC. Question 6. A media company uses Amazon S3, EC2, and RDS to store and process large volumes of data. The security team wants to enforce least privilege access. Developers need temporary, just-in-time access to specific resources. The company follows IAM best practices and avoids long-term credentials. Which approach ensures secure, least privilege access? Options: A. Assign IAM users specific permissions using IAM policies. B. Use IAM roles with STS assume role and define granular permissions. C. Create IAM groups with predefined permissions and assign users to groups. D. Use AWS organizations to enforce permissions across all accounts. Correct answer: B. Use IAM roles with STS assume role and define granular permissions. Explanation: IAM roles with STS, Security Token Service, assume role provide temporary, least privilege access, avoiding long-term credentials. Why not other options? Option A. IAM users with static policies violate least privilege. Option C. IAM groups are useful, but not for dynamic access control. Option D. AWS organizations enforces policies but does not provide temporary access. Question 7. A global e-commerce website runs in multiple AWS regions. Each region has an ALB with EC2 instances in an auto-scaling group. Route 53 handles DNS-based traffic routing. The company wants to prevent DDoS attacks and secure user data. Which solution provides the best security posture? Options: A. Use AWS Shield Advanced to protect ALBs from DDoS attacks. B. Enable AWS WAF and restrict access based on IP addresses. C. Implement VPC peering between regions to prevent attacks. D. Use CloudFront to cache content and prevent direct access to ALBs. Correct answer: A. Use AWS Shield Advanced to protect ALBs from DDoS attacks. Explanation: AWS Shield Advanced provides DDoS protection at the network and application layers, ensuring high availability. Why not other options? Option B. AWS WAF helps, but does not stop large-scale DDoS attacks. Option C. VPC peering does not prevent security threats. Option D. CloudFront helps reduce attack surface but does not fully mitigate DDoS attacks. Question 8. A healthcare company runs its patient database on Amazon RDS PostgreSQL. The database must be highly available. Data should not be lost in case of a regional failure. Read performance should be optimized for global access. Which solution provides high availability and disaster recovery? Options: A. Enable RDS multi-AZ and set up read replicas in another region. B. Use RDS read replicas in multiple regions without multi-AZ. C. Deploy an EC2-based PostgreSQL database with EBS snapshots. D. Use DynamoDB global tables to replicate data across regions. Correct answer: A. Enable RDS multi-AZ and set up read replicas in another region. Explanation: Multi-AZ ensures automatic failover within the same region. Read replicas in another region provide disaster recovery and global access. Why not other options? Option B, read replicas do not provide automated failover. Option C, managing an EC2-based database increases operational complexity. Option D, DynamoDB is not a relational database, so it's not suitable for PostgreSQL workloads. Question 9. A fintech company uses AWS Lambda to process real-time payment transactions. Sensitive financial data is processed by Lambda functions. Lambda should only access specific AWS resources. Data should never be stored unencrypted. Which security controls should be implemented? Options: A. Use IAM policies to grant Lambda least privilege access and enable KMS encryption. B. Run Lambda inside an EC2 instance for better security. C. Store sensitive data in Amazon S3 without encryption but restrict access via IAM. D. Allow Lambda to use any AWS resource and monitor access with CloudTrail. Correct answer: A. Use IAM policies to grant Lambda least privilege access and enable KMS encryption. Explanation: IAM least privilege ensures Lambda can only access necessary AWS resources. KMS encryption protects data at rest and in transit. Why not other options? Option B, running Lambda inside EC2 negates serverless benefits. Option C, storing unencrypted data violates security best practices. Option D, allowing Lambda to access all AWS resources is insecure. Question 10. A SaaS company stores terabytes of log data in Amazon S3. Logs need to be retained for 1 year but are rarely accessed. The company wants to minimize storage costs. Which solution reduces costs while maintaining access when needed? Options: A. Store logs in S3 standard and use lifecycle policies to delete after 1 year. B. Use S3 intelligent tiering for automatic cost optimization. C. Move logs to Amazon Glacier Deep Archive with lifecycle policies. D. Store logs in Amazon RDS for easy query access. Correct answer: C. Move logs to Amazon Glacier Deep Archive with lifecycle policies. Explanation: Glacier Deep Archive provides the lowest cost for long-term storage while still allowing access when needed. Why not other options? Option A, S3 standard is expensive for rarely accessed data. Option B, intelligent tiering does not provide the lowest cost for long-term storage. Option D, RDS is not cost-effective for log storage.